Hare Krishna, everybody. I was requested by our host, Madhu, to speak on Holi. That's what she wants. So first, I must do my Guru Vandana. Om apavitra pavitro va sarva avastangatopi va yat smaret pundarik akshang sabaya abhyantara suchihi Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu. Om Ajnana Timarandasya Jnana Anjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militang Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Giri Yat Kripatamahang Vande Sri Gurum Dina Charanam Yat Kripa Tamahang Vande Parama Ananda Madhavam Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Holi is a major Hindu holiday celebrated on the last day of the bright fortnight of the month of Falguna, February, March. This festival is said to be one of Krishna's favorites. The most popular activity is the throwing of colored water and powder by participants on each other. So are you going to do that tomorrow? You're going to do that? Huh? Powder, okay. Holi is also known as the Festival of Colors, Festival of Spring, and Festival of Love, and is one of the most popular and significant festivals in Hinduism. This is the line I like. It celebrates the eternal and divine love of Radha and Krishna. The day also signifies the triumph of good over evil, as it commemorates the victory of Vishnu as Narasimha Dev over the demon Hiranyakashipu. It originated and is predominantly celebrated in the Indian subcontinent, but now has also spread to other regions of Asia and even parts of the Western world. Holi celebrates the arrival of spring in India, the end of winter, and the blossoming of love. And for many, it is a festive day to meet others, play and laugh, forget and forgive. That's important. Forget and forgive. And repair broken relationships. The festival is also an invocation for a good spring harvest. It lasts for a night and a day, starting on the evening of the Purnima, falling in the Hindu calendar month of Falguna, which falls around the middle of March in the Western calendar. The first evening is known as Holika Dahan, or Choti Holi, and the following day is known as Holi, as well as other various names. Holi celebrations start on the night before with the ritual of Holika Dana, where people gather and perform religious rituals in front of a bonfire and pray that their internal evils be destroyed, just the way Holika, the sister of the demon king Hiranyakashipu, was killed in the fire. So are you also going to do that tomorrow? You're going to do that? Wow. You guys are going all out. Jai. The next morning is celebrated as Wangali Holi or Duleti, where people smear and drench each other with colors. Water guns and water-filled balloons are often used to play and color each other with anyone and any place being considered fair game. So I remember in 1988, I was in Calcutta and I was staying at the temple for Gorponi, and for some reason I had to go outside the temple. As soon as I left the temple, boom, 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 I got bombarded. I think it was my first experience of Indian Holi. Boy, I was thinking, these guys don't fool around. Groups often carry drums and other musical instruments, going from place to place, singing and dancing. Throughout the day, people visit family, and friends and foes come together to chat, enjoy food and drink, and partake in holy delicacies. In the Braj region of India, where Radha and Krishna grew up, the festival is celebrated by commemorating their divine love for each other. The festivities usually officially usher in spring, with Holi celebrated as a festival of love. The Garga Samhita mentions a romantic description of Radha and Krishna playing Holi. There is also a popular symbolic legend behind the festival. In his youth, Krishna was despondent whether the fair-skinned Radha would like him because of his dark skin color. Krishna's mother, Yashoda, was tired of trying to console Krishna, so she asked Krishna to approach Radha and ask her to color Krishna's face in any color she wanted. Radha did this, and Radha and Krishna became a couple. Sri Sri RadhaRaman Radha Krishna Bhagavan Ki. Ever since then, the playful covering of Radha and Krishna's face has been commemorated as Holi. So are you going to do that too? Are you going? Yes, you're going to decorate Krishna's? Okay, good. Jai. Holika, Prahlad's evil aunt, tricked Prahlad into sitting on a fire pyre with her. Holika was wearing a cloak, which made Holika immune to injury from fire, while Prahlad was not. However, as the fire spread, the cloak flew away from Holika and instead protected Prahlad, who survived while Holika burned. So immediately that reminds us of a very famous verse in Bhagavad Gita. Who knows that verse? That verse is, Krishna says that, first, there's several verses you could quote. As you surrender to me, I reward you accordingly. Then Krishna also told Arjuna, declare it boldly, my devotee is never vanquished. Prahlad is such a good example of that Bhagavad Gita line. Kaunteya pratijanahi na me bhakta pranasyati. And Prabhupada points out that Krishna wanted Arjuna to declare it. And Prabhupada says, because some people might not believe Krishna, but they'll believe Arjuna. So Krishna had Arjuna declare it. You declare it. My devotee is never vanquished. All in favor of being Krishna's devotee and being protected, say, Hare Krishna. Kaunteya pratijanahi na me bhakta pranasyati. Now, I found this bit of interesting. I find all of this very, very interesting. I hope it's pleasing to you. So here is a story of Kamadev, Cupid, and Rati, his wife. Among other Hindu traditions, such as Shaivism and Shaktism, the legendary significance of Holi is linked to Lord Shiva, who was in yoga and deep meditation. Goddess Parvati wanted to bring Lord Shiva back into external consciousness. So she sought help from the Hindu god of love called Kamadev. The love god shot his arrows at Shiva, but the yogi Shiva opened his third eye and burnt Kamadev to ashes. I guess the moral of the story is, what to speak of Lord Shiva, right? Do not disturb someone when they're doing yoga. You never know. Besides, that reminds me of that story in Krishna where Jarasandha is attacking Krishna for the 18th time along with the help of another demon, Kaliyavana. So Krishna, barefoot, was leading Kaliyavana away from the battle. And Krishna was barefoot. And Krishna went into a cave. So and it's described, no matter how hard Kaliyavana tried, he couldn't catch up to Krishna. Why? Because he's sinful. If you're sinful, you cannot approach Krishna. So when Kaliyavana entered the cave, he saw a sleeping man. And he thought, Krishna doesn't want to fight me. He's pretending to sleep. So he kicked him. But Kaliyavana didn't know that was not Krishna. That was a great, great devotee warrior, Muchukunda. And he had gotten a benediction from Kartikeya to have unlimited sleep. And he specifically said, if anybody wakes me up untimely, I want to be able to burn them with my glance. Krishna knew all of this. How could Krishna know this? Why? He's Paramatma. He knows everything. So when Kaliyavana was untimely woken, he looked at Kaliyavana, and Muchakunda glanced at him, and Kaliyavana was burnt to ashes. Let's get back to Lord Shiva. So he has just burned Kamadev, Cupid, to ashes. When Lord Shiva was engaged in severely austere meditation, Cupid, the demigod of lust, threw his arrow of sex desire. Lord Shiva, thus being angry at him, glanced at Cupid in great wrath, and at once the body of Cupid was annihilated. Now since Kamadev, who is a demigod expansion of Lord Vasudeva, everybody say, had been burned to ashes by the anger of Lord Shiva, Cupid was reborn as part and parcel of Pradyumna from the womb of Rukmini. A demon named Shambhara thinking Pradyumna to be his enemy, kidnapped Pradyumna from the maternity room even before Pradyumna was even 10 days old. Shambhara then threw Pradyumna into the ocean and then returned to his kingdom. Then a powerful fish swallowed Pradyumna, and that fish was caught by a fisherman in his net. They then presented the huge fish to Shambhara. But when his cooks cut it open, they find a child within the belly. The cooks gave the infant to Shambhara's maidservant Mayavati, who was astonished to see the baby. Just then, who do you think appears? Narada Muni Vajaya Veena RadhaRaman Name. Narada Muni appeared and told Mayavati who the infant was. Mayavati previously was Kamadev's wife, Rati Devi. So while waiting for her husband to be reborn in a new body, she had taken employment as a cook in the house of Shambhara. But now that she understood who the infant was, she began to feel intense affection for him. After a very short time, Pradyumna grew to be fully youthfully mature, and he was very enchanting to all women by his beauty. Once, Mayavati approached Pradyumna, playfully moving her eyebrows in a conjugal mood. But addressing her as his mother, Pradyumna commented that she was putting aside her proper maternal mood and behaving like a passionate girlfriend. Mayavati then told Pradyumna who they both were. So she advised Pradyumna to kill Shambhara Asura, and to help Pradyumna, she instructed him in mystic mantras known as Mahamaya. Pradyumna then went to Shambhara, and after insulting him, challenged Shambhara to a fight, upon which Shambhara angrily took up his club and marched outside. The demon tried various magic spells against Pradyumna, but Pradyumna fended all of them with the Mahamaya mantras, and then he cut off Shambhara's head. At that moment, Mayavati appeared in the sky and took Pradyumna away to Dwaraka. And then, when they arrived, they saw this beautiful. At first, everybody in the palace thought it was Krishna, so they became a little shy. But then they could see, no, it's not Krishna. It looks just like Krishna, but it's not Krishna. And when Rukmini saw Pradyumna, she started to experience motherly affection, and milk sprang from her breast. And she was thinking, well, that might be. And then again, who comes? Narada Muni. Narada Muni then explains to Rukmini everything that has happened. Finishing up, Cupid, whom Rudra burned up with his anger, is a demigod subordinate to Indra. This demigod Cupid is a partial manifestation of the prototype Cupid, Pradyumna, who is a plenary full expansion of, everybody say, Vasudeva. The demigod Cupid, being unable to attain a new body on his own, entered within the body of Pradyumna. Otherwise, Cupid would have had to remain in a perpetual state of disembodiment as a result of Rudra's having incinerated him by his anger. Gets more interesting. When Cupid's body was burned to ashes, Rati worshipped Lord Shiva to obtain another body for her husband Cupid. But at the same time, Shambhara had come to Shiva also for a benediction, and he was recognized by Shiva first. So, Lord Shiva said, "Now ask for your benediction." And Shambhara, seeing Rati Devi, became full of lust, and he said to Lord Shiva, "I want this woman as mine." And Lord Shiva said, "Tatastu, tatastu." Now what about Rati? Well, that's what? Lord Shiva then consoled the sobbing Rati, you can imagine. Consoled the sobbing Rati, telling her, yes, go with him, and in his very home, you will attain what you really desire. Thereupon Rati bewildered Shambhara with her deluding power, and taking the name Mayavati, remained in Shambhara's house untouched. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. So there's more Leela in connection with Holi. Let us now go to Srimad Bhagavatam. Please repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, where I'm picking up is in the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Narada is being instructed by his father, Brahmaji. And this particular chapter, Brahmaji is explaining all different kinds of incarnations of Krishna. And he describes in a few verses Ram avatar. But the bulk of the chapter, Brahma dedicates to Krishna Leela. Quick summaries. So here is one. Kridan Bane Nishi Nishakara Rashmi Garyam Rason Mukha Kala Padat Yatta Murchitena Udipita Smara Rujang Vrajabrid Badhunam Hartur Harishyati Shiro Danadag Nugasya. Lord Brahma said, when Krishna was engaged in his pastimes of the Rasa dance in the forest of Vrindavan, enlivening the amorous desires of the wives of the inhabitants of Vrindavan, doing this by his sweet and melodious songs, a demon of the name Shankachuda, a rich follower of the treasurer of heaven, Kubera, kidnapped the damsel gopis. But Krishna severed Shankachuda's head from his trunk. Now let's go into more detail. Prabhupada comments, the demon Shankachuda was killed by Krishna during his pastimes at Horika, Holi, in the month of Falguna. And the same ceremony is still observed in India by burning an effigy of Shankachuda one day prior to the Lord's pastimes at Horika, generally known as Holi. So here is the details. On a very pleasant night, Krishna, so we're in Vrindavan now. So try to picture Vrindavan. It's springtime. It's holy. Okay? And so now you're in Vrindavan. On a very pleasant night, Krishna and his elder brother Balaram, both of whom are inconceivably powerful, went into the forest of Vrindavan. They were accompanied by the damsels of Brajabhumi. Balaram and Krishna thus began enjoying the company of the gopis. So here, previously, whenever we hear about the Rasa dance, usually it's just Krishna and the gopis. But this night, both of them. But keep in mind, the gopis Lord Balaram danced with were different from the ones Lord Krishna danced with. So that means, just as Krishna has his gopis, Balaram has his gopis. So sometimes I think, well, okay, maybe I can't become a gopi of Krishna, perhaps a gopi of Balaram. I'll settle for that. Right? The young damsels of Braja were nicely dressed and anointed with pulp of sandalwood and decorated with flowers. The moon was shining in the sky, surrounded by glittering stars. The breeze was blowing, bearing the aroma of malika flowers, and the bumblebees were mad after the aroma. At this description of the glittering stars, I remember when first time I went to India, 1975, sometimes it was so hot, at night we would sleep on the roof of the temple, outside. And I remember this one time, maybe it was my first, looking up at the sky, seeing so many stars. I was thinking, wow, this is amazing. So many stars. Taking advantage of the pleasing atmosphere, Krishna and Balaram began to sing very melodiously. Who wants to hear the singing of Krishna and Balaram? Yes. The gopis became so absorbed in their rhythmical song, they almost forgot themselves. Their hair became loose, their clothes became slack, and their garlands began to fall to the ground. At that time, while Krishna, Balaram, and the gopis were so much absorbed, almost in madness, a demoniac associate of Kuvera appeared on the scene. The demon's name was Shankachuda, because on his head there was a very valuable jewel resembling a conch shell. Just as the two sons of Kuvera, Nalakuvara and Manigriva, had been puffed up over their wealth and opulence and did not care for Narada Muni's presence, which is why they were cursed to become Yamala Arjuna trees, but later delivered by Krishna in his form as Damodar. Remember? So this Shankachuda was also puffed up over material opulence. And he thought that Krishna and Balaram were just two ordinary cowherder boys enjoying the company of many beautiful girls. Generally in the material world, a person with riches thinks that all beautiful women should be enjoyed by him. So Shankachuda also thought that since he belonged to the rich community of Kuvera, he, not Krishna and Balaram, should enjoy the company of so many beautiful girls. Shankachuda therefore decided to take charge of the gopis. Shankachuda appeared before Krishna, Balaram, and the damsels of Braja and began leading the girls away towards the north. Shankachuda commanded them as if he were their proprietor and husband, in spite of the presence of Krishna and Balaram. The demon Shankachuda shook a large stick at the beautiful young girls, thus frightening them and driving the gopis towards the north. Yet, Shankachuda did not actually touch the gopis. That's very interesting. He could not actually touch, just like Ravana could not actually touch Sita. He touched Maya Sita. So these exalted spiritual personalities, you cannot approach by material means, what to speak of demoniac. So this is interesting. He did not actually touch the gopis. Being forcibly taken away by Shankachuda, the gopis called out the names. What names are they going to call out? Krishna and Balaram. Yes. Who else? Yes, we should all be like the residents of Vrindavan. Whenever there's a danger, whenever there's an asura, just call out, Hey Krishna, Hey Balaram, Hey Govinda. The two brothers immediately began following, taking up big logs of shala wood in their hands. They called out to the gopis, Don't be afraid, don't be afraid. We are coming at once to chastise this demon. And very quickly they reached Shankachuda. Thinking the brothers to be too powerful, Shankachuda left the company of the gopis and ran away in fear of his life. But Krishna would not let Shankachuda go. So Krishna entrusted the gopis to the care of Balaram, and Krishna himself followed Shankachuda wherever he fled. The women had become fatigued from being driven away, and thus Lord Balaram protected the gopis, consoling them as they rested. Meanwhile, Lord Krishna went after Shankachuda. Krishna wanted to take the valuable jewel, resembling a conch shell, from the head of the demon. So after following him a very short distance, Krishna caught him, struck his head with his fist, and killed Shankachuda. Bhagavan Sri Krishna ki. Krishna then took the valuable jewel and returned. In the presence of all the damsels, Krishna presented the valuable jewel to his elder brother Balaram. Various gopis were thinking that Govinda would give one of them the valuable jewel. But to prevent any rivalry among them, Krishna happily gave the jewel to his older brother Balaram. Krishna is very intelligent. He knows how to expertly handle every situation. All right, there's one more Leela in this connection of Holi. Once, while playing Holi, Radha and Krishna were seated on a singhasana. The Sakis took the opportunity to secretly tie the divine couple's cloth together. When Radha and Krishna stood up, they found their cloth was tied together, and they felt embarrassed as all the Sakis smiled in great fun. After throwing colored dyes, the Sakis then untied Radha and Krishna's clothing. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. There's one more aspect to Holi, the Gaudiya understanding of Holi. Namo Maha Vadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Twishe Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jayadvaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Nittai Gauranga Nittai Gauranga Nittai Gauranga Gaura Hari Gaura Hari Gaura Hari Nittai Gauranga Gaura Hari Gaura Hari Gaura Hari Nittai Gauranga Gaura Hari Nittai Gauranga Gaura Hari Nittai Gauranga Gaura Hari. So, for those who follow Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they celebrate Holi as Gaura Purnima, the appearance of Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This mantra that I chanted was composed by Lord Chaitanya's chief disciple, Rupa Goswami. He and his brother Sanatan were the two main disciples of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Rupa Goswami composed this verse, and the meaning is very, very nice. Namo Mahavadanyaya. So he's saying, my obeisances, I'm falling down at the feet of someone who is Mahavadanyaya, most munificent and charitably disposed. But we should not misunderstand. Lord Chaitanya's munificence and charity is not anything material, because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is completely on the spiritual transcendental platform. Everything regarding Sri Krishna Chaitanya, every aspect of his life and teachings is transcendental, spiritual, uncommon. So he is described here as most munificent and charitable. Why? Krishna Prema Pradayate. He can give you the topmost treasure. Lord Chaitanya's topmost gift is ecstatic love of God. Indeed, Lord Chaitanya's fourth Shikshastakam instruction completely describes his mission. Nadanang najanang nasundaring kavitang va jagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhaktir ahoituki twai. Lord Chaitanya, when he prays to Krishna, he says, my Lord, I am not coming to you for any wealth. I'm not coming to you to have a nice situation of sense gratification. I'm not coming to you asking for a beautiful wife or numbers of followers. No. And then Lord Chaitanya says, I am not even asking you for moksha. liberation. This is quite revolutionary. He's approaching Krishna. I don't even want liberation. Therefore, he says, Janmanishware, Mama Janmani. I don't care if I have to take birth in this material world again and again. Doesn't matter. But he does want something. Bhavatad bhaktir ahoituki twayi. What does Lord Chaitanya beg for Krishna? Nothing material. He says, I want this attitude of causeless service to your lotus feet, life after life. It doesn't matter to me where you place me in this world. No. But I must have attachment, spontaneous attachment to your lotus feet, serving you. So Lord Chaitanya is the one who can give you love of God. We know from studying the Vedas that the Vedas teach 4 Purusha Arthas, or goals of life. Dharma, religion; Artha, economic development; Kama, sense gratification; and then ultimately moksha, liberation. That is what the Sanatan Dharma is offering. But Lord Chaitanya's teachings is clear. Panchama Purushartha. There's a 5th goal, higher than even moksha, higher than liberation. What is that? Ecstatic love of God. What's ecstatic love? I'll give you an example. If somebody comes to me with a freshly made samosa, I am spontaneously attracted to that samosa. Spontaneously. So Lord Chaitanya is saying, I want to be spontaneously attracted to Krishna. That's what I want. Yeah, Prabhupada warned us. Even if at the time of death you are desiring one rasgula, you have to take birth. We have to become free from all material desires in order to experience this topmost platform, ecstatic love of God. This is what Lord Chaitanya is freely distributing. How? By means of the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Lord Chaitanya appeared for external reasons and personal internal reasons. Externally, Lord Chaitanya appeared 500 years ago in Bengal in order to widely promulgate the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That was his external purpose. Because Lord Chaitanya's teaching doesn't matter what you did, who you are, whatever, it doesn't matter. Simply chant the holy name of God, you will be delivered. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Just chant. That's all, the name of God. But his personal internal reasons, Lord Chaitanya, he's Krishna. But he wants to understand what is the experience of Radharani. Because being in the position of Krishna, Krishna does not actually understand the experience of Radha. He tries, but he can't. So Lord Krishna thinks, if I really want to understand what Radha is experiencing by worshiping and loving and serving me, I have to become her. Just like you husbands. You don't know what it's like to be married to you. You would have to take the position of your wife. Then you would understand, oh, I'm that? I'm like that? Yes, you would. Same way with the ladies. You don't know what it's like being in their shoes. You'd have to take that role, then you would understand. Krishna is no different. From the position of Krishna as the enjoyer, in order for him to understand the position of Radha, he then takes this incarnation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna in the sentiment, complexion, attitude, mentality, bhav, Radha Duti Bhav, the experience, the ecstasy of Radha. This is the inner purpose of Lord Chaitanya's descent. Just as it is said that Krishna, not an incarnation, but Krishna himself, appears in this world once in a day of Brahma. So, from a scheme of things, Krishna, who appeared 5,000 years ago, that's considered recent. If you think how many years there are in a day of Brahma, hundreds and thousands of earth years, it was only 5,000 years ago that Krishna came. And so, after Krishna comes, the next incarnation in Kali Yuga is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that's even more recent, a little more than 500 years ago. So this Lord Chaitanya, Krishna Prema Pradayate, he is giving love of Krishna. And he has the complexion of RadhaRani, Tapta Kanchana Gorangi, Radhe Vrindavaneshwari, Vrishabhanu Sute Devi, Pranamami Hari Priye. That RadhaRani, Tapta Kanchana, molten gold. And notice, what is the color of Krishna's dhoti? Pita, right? Yellow, golden. And what color sari does RadhaRani wear? Blackish, bluish. You see the connection? Yes. And there is I can't go into details, but there is a very interesting Leela in Vrindavan where Radha and Krishna exchange clothes and they become practically invisible. Krishna with RadhaRani's dark blue sari and RadhaRani with Krishna's dark yellow cloth. It's like they disappeared. But that's not for public. Just throw out a hint. So, Lord Chaitanya, he came with his associates. Just like when Krishna comes, Krishna does not come alone. First he sends his teachers, his parents, his associates, then Krishna appears. Same way with Ram, very similar. So when Lord Chaitanya appeared, first of all, he sent his associates. So Lord Chaitanya's associates, now, we all know from the scriptures that when Lord Vishnu appears, he comes with weapons and so many assistants. But although Lord Chaitanya is Krishna, he doesn't come in the attitude of God, Vishnu. As I said, he comes in the attitude of RadhaRani, the humble servant. But he also has his weapons. What is his weapons? First of all, his beauty. Lord Chaitanya's beauty attracts the logicians, the scholars, the Mayavadis. And Lord Chaitanya also has his associates and companions who also act as his soldiers. So what does this army do? This army of Lord Chaitanya, what do? They go from town to town, village to village, and they simply chant the holy name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everybody sing, Hare Na. It's on.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hari Haraye Namaha,
Hari Haraye Namaha,
Krishna Yadavaya Namaha,
Krishna Yadavaya Namaha,
Gopala Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudana,
Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudana,
Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya,
Govinda Jai Jai, Gopal Jai Jai,
RadhaRaman Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya,
RadhaRaman Hari Govinda Jai Jai,
RadhaRaman Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya,
RadhaRaman Hari Govinda Jai Jai,
RadhaRaman Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya,
RadhaRaman Hari Govinda Jai Jai.
So Lord Chaitanya, when he was initiated by his spiritual master, Ishwara Puri told Lord Chaitanya, do not study the Vedanta Sutra. Don't waste your time. You simply chant this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Everything will be revealed to you. So Lord Chaitanya did that. He strictly followed the order of his spiritual master. And after a few days, he went back to his spiritual master. Gurudev, you told me, don't read Vedanta Sutra, just chant. I did that. But I think I'm doing something wrong. Because when I chant, tears come from my eyes. My throat becomes choked up. The hairs of my body stand on end. Sometimes I shiver. What am I doing wrong? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's guru said, no. I am a nonsense. But you followed my instructions. You have achieved the perfection of chanting. Because you are experiencing the 8 kinds of ecstatic transformations which come about from pure chanting of the holy name of God. So that should tell you something. Sometimes I am asked, Prabhu, how many years I have to chant? Until you develop these ecstatic symptoms, keep chanting. But I've been chanting. You can't fake it. When you experience these ecstatic symptoms, now you know you are perfect. But then what did Lord Chaitanya's spiritual master told him? So yes, you're perfect, but now I'm giving you 3 more instructions. First of all, continue to chant. Not that, oh, I have achieved perfection, I'm going to go on vacation. No. You must continue to chant. You must continue to stay in the association of devotees. And very significant, you must preach the value of this holy name of Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sorry.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for